Hi, Deb Smith, life coach and licensed professional counselor. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about addiction. And I know I have talked about it in the past, and I have written about it on my website pretty extensively. It's a major issue in our country, and maybe not even in our country, maybe across the globe. And I think part of the problem is that we're still after all these years not looking at the root cause of addiction. We're not looking at the traumas that created this problem to begin with, and we're isolating addiction and saying, okay, this person is an addict, this person has choice, this person has willpower, this person isn't utilizing those things, or none of that is actually true. What's true is that people are addicts because they've had trauma. That's just the simple truth. So now we need to look at, okay, what are we going to do for this person who's suffering? Are we going to judge that person? Are we going to help that person? Are we going to look past whatever it is that they're doing, whatever it is their addiction is? Or are we going to stay in that space of, well, you know what, you could get out of this, you could stop doing it if you wanted to do it, but the simple truth is no, they can't. Now, that doesn't mean that we sit back and do nothing. That doesn't mean that we just say, oh, there's nothing they can do about it, they've had trauma, and this is just the way they are, and not set anything up. No, that isn't what we do. We set up boundaries. We don't let people treat us poorly. We don't let people manipulate us, abuse us because of the pain that they're feeling. We don't do that. So we do have very strict and very firm boundaries, but that doesn't mean that we don't try to help that person, that we don't say, you know what, I really think that therapy would help you. I think that finding someone who would help you with your trauma might actually help you with your addiction, because maybe they never thought about that. Maybe because a lot of people don't connect the dots, and that's the problem. You cannot have addiction without some trauma. It doesn't just all of a sudden appear. You just don't wake up and decide, I want to be addicted to a substance or a behavior. It just doesn't work that way. So we have to look at the trauma. We have to have compassion for that person. And I shouldn't say have to, but that's what helps, is when we have compassion for them. When we look at them as a victim, as someone who suffered, someone who has been through something that was horrific for them, that was life-threatening, life-altering. Now, how can we help them from that angle instead of the judgment? Well, if you wanted to stop this, you would just stop it. If you weren't happy with it, then you would change it. It isn't that simple. So we need to help them with boundaries from a very, very different perspective. And we don't often have the tools and skills to be able to do that. But to be able to tell someone, I really think you need to do this. I think you need to look at this from a different angle. And I think that everything you've gone through in your life has just worn you down, and you're not able to cope with it anymore, and this is the best way that you cope with it, and there are other ways. It doesn't have to be this way. So here's a phone number, here's a person's name, here's an idea, here's a book, here's something to get them on their path to healing. So let's let go of judgment. Let's bring compassion into our lives, not only to people with trauma and addiction, but to everyone that we're dealing with, because just about everyone is dealing with something. So, as always, I wish you well, and I wish you a very blessed day.